What's going on, guys? This is Mark from M3 Finish Mobile Detailing, servicing at IE, and today I'm going to tell you 3 things I should have known when starting a detailing business.
Hey Mark, for people that don't know, how long have you been detailing?
I've been detailing for 6 years.
And here in the IE?
Yeah, only in the IE.
What's the first thing you wish you knew?
For me, knowing the off-season would be ideally. The rain is always kicking in, so it gets slow in wintertime. People don't want to get their car wash done, so you're gonna have to figure out how can you make money or keep the cash flow going. So I would suggest people do focus on interior details or paint corrections, something that's not I would say the car's not always out. So the paint corrections, that's a high ticket item, would kind of help you keep the cash flow going. And then the other thing is the interior details. When it's raining, the interior's not going to get wet, so you could detail the interior so you can still make money.
When you first started, did winter hit you hard? Did it come unexpected?
Yeah, when I was first starting, I didn't have a set clientele, so it was really hard for me to keep money going in. So basically my dreams were keeping the business alive. So yeah, man, I had to just figure it out. I had to post on Facebook consistently every day, hey, interior details, paint corrections. So don't be scared to post consistently about your business to try to get people more engaged into it. Because when it was slow for me, I would text, say if I had 100 people in my contact list, I'll text all 100 people saying, hey, we got 10% off, or we got $100 off of your paint correction, so we could get that business going, so we get that cash flow, so we keep it going for later on down the line.
What about now? Are you still doing that? Or do you feel you build your clientele that lets you survive during winter?
Yeah, so we have a set clientele now. We have a bi-weekly or weekly. Some of these clients don't care if it rains, they want their car clean regardless. So what we do is we have them all scheduled in, so it keeps the cash flow going. And then we don't really have to do that necessarily unless, I would say if it's raining 5 days in the week, then we'll probably promote, hey, we're gonna give you $50 off or $10 off, etc.
What's tip number 2?
Tip number 2, I would say, pick what kind of client that are a client base you would want to go with. For instance, people that they aim for exotics, aim for EVs, or etc. I would say figure it out. There's pros and cons to that. So the people that are with exotics, I would say they're really selective and it's really hard to get the exotics. If you don't know the people that have the exotics, it's kind of hard to get in. I would pick EVs. They're really good. They're always wanting to maintain their cars. So it just depends on where you want to go with.
When you first started, were you detailing anybody that came through, or were you starting to be more selective of your clientele?
Yeah, when I first started, I started detailing anybody I could get. So it doesn't matter what it is. Whoever had the money, I would go, show up, and they pay for it and then get it going. But the cons of that, you run into things that you don't know. For instance, I would say the first time this guy said, hey, I want a interior detail. So I just went over there, didn't really care about the car, got there. It was super hammered, really, really dirty. Pet hair, it took me 6 hours to do it. I only charged $100. So if you do the math, it didn't really work out for me. The time getting there, the time back, and also the products. So I guess it's just a learning experience for people. So yeah, I always when people contact us for interior details, ask them to show me pictures before, hey, can you show me the car, or do you have any pictures of their vehicle, so we get an idea of pricing, and then also get an idea of what it looks like, so how long it'll take us, so we got to charge accordingly.
Now that you have a lot of experience, what are some customers that you just don't want to work with?
Don't like to work with people hey, can you do it now kind of thing. When they call, they'll call you on the phone hey, I got a Tesla that wants to get detailed, and I give them my pricing. They're oh, can you do it right now? And it's no, we can't. We work by appointments only. That customer I don't want, because there's one time I did take a customer like that and they wanted everything done for the minimum price. So you just don't know that customer. So I wouldn't recommend that.
Why do you do appointments only?
Right now we only do appointments because we have bi-weeklies. So we try to fit people in on our schedule, have a better structure if we just do appointments only instead of just picking everybody up. And it goes back to saying you don't know what you're gonna get. So if someone calls me, hey, I bring it in. Yeah, you just run into that issue and then your scheduling gets crazy.
So I'm assuming your bread and butter and business model, maintenance, mainly what you guys focus on?
We focus on maintenance. We do a lot of everything. So we do maintenance, interior details, paint corrections, PPF. So it just depends. Whoever that wants to pay for the services, we would be well diverse.
What's the last thing you wish you knew before you started a detailing business?
Yeah, I would say the last thing would be pricing. So pricing plays a big factor into detailing. I would recommend doing your homework, breaking down how much is your cost for a car. For instance, how much is your soap, how much is your degreaser, and etc. And say, for instance, this is for example, say it takes me $10 to $20 in product just to detail that car. You got to put that into factor. So, and then also say if you do have someone helping you out, a worker or anything like that, that comes to play as well. So you got to know your expenses and then your profit margin. So you got to figure that out as well. because you don't want to be detailing a car and say for instance it takes you $20 to detail a car, wash the car, and then after you're charging a guy $40, but then after you got your guy also you have to pay for it, then you only make like 10 bucks. It doesn't really make sense. I would say know your expenses before even hopping in.
What's the bare minimum you go out for, Mark?
If it's local, like we'll just do $50 bare minimum, but that's like usually the exterior wash. I would say that'd be like the bare minimum kind of thing. Other than that, we don't really go out for like this.
What if someone hits you up and says, hey, I'm 20 minutes away from you, I got 3 cars, what kind of pricing do you do then?
I would say, depending on what the situation is, if we're like super slow, we'll try to figure it out, ask them to send pictures over, get an idea what it looks like, and then we can kind of evaluate. And if we wanted to pick them up, we'll pick them up. But if not, it just all depends.
Now, last question is, there's a lot of detailers out there that say, I don't want to raise my prices. I'm scared because I'm gonna lose customers. What if I get no new customers? Did you go through that phase?
Yeah, I feel like everybody goes through that phase. You're gonna just have to do it regardless, because if you're gonna keep that pricing to the bare minimum, you're never gonna grow. You're never gonna see the other side of detailing. You just stick to that same point as washing cars, and you're gonna be in that small box where it's easier for you to replace because you're just a guy that's just washing cars consistently. You're losing a lot of money because you're not taking paint corrections, the ceramic coatings, PPF, so then you're just gonna be stuck at there. So when it's winter time, you're not gonna be successful at all just because you're just basically stuck there.
Last thing I want to mention is, you're talking about PPF. You're actually gonna go take a class?
Yeah, we're gonna take a class in Chicago, 2-day course. We know how to PPF, but this is just to sharpen our skills, get more knowledge from other people, and try to become more efficient. All right guys, today we wrapped up the video. I wanna know in the comments, what was your biggest lesson you had in detailing, and you guys learned from it? Other than that, drop it down in the comments below. And if you guys wanna follow my journey, make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you guys.